So welcome back, and in my presentation I will describe our work developed in SEAwise project to enhance bioeconomic models, including behavioral and economic sub-components. So we know that bioeconomic models are widely used to assess the impact of fishery management, both on fish stocks and also to evaluate and quantify the economic performance of the fleets exploiting them. However, they often rely on simplified assumptions, like, for example, constant fish prices or ignoring fishers' reaction to regulations. This can, of course, lead to misleading projections and weak policy recommendations. What we aim to do in this work is to make this model more realistic, rethinking how we integrate socioeconomic dynamics into these bioeconomic models. The idea is to inform the bioeconomic models with enhanced socioeconomic submodels to make projections more reliable and test the robustness of management strategies under different unexpected situations. In our study, we covered 5 subregions in Western Waters, Bay of Biscay and Celtic Sea, North Sea, Mediterranean Sea, where we covered Adriatic and Western Ionian Sea, GSAs 17, 18, and 19, and Eastern Ionian Sea, GSA 20. We applied FLBEA and BAMTool bioeconomic models, and the models were customized to the fleet types and specific métier operating in each region, and include sub-models on stock productivity under different climate scenarios. For each component, we used mainly public data sources, and for each component prices, costs, behavior, we tested multiple equations, selecting the best model according to their its capability to fit the observed data, the inclusion of only significant variables, and we selected finally the model with highest predictive capability. These submodels were then plugged into FLBEA and BAMTool bioeconomic models, which simulate biological and economic outcomes under different management strategies. We, utilizing BAMTool and FLBEA, explored interactions between the management, the climate, and socioeconomic pathways. For management scenarios, we focused on FMSY, scenario-based, pretty good yield, and we used the status quo as reference, plus other scenarios, case study specific. For the climate scenarios, we explored the moderate scenario and an extreme warming scenarios, RCP 4.5 and 8.5. And then we crossed this information with the socioeconomic pathways as developed by Ceres project, defined as a different increase in fish price and in fuel price. In particular, in Bay of Biscay and Central Mediterranean, we explored also the reaction to fishers to spatial management. To evaluate the impact of management on the social systems, we needed to define and select the relevant indicators. And we started from the common fisheries policy pillars, the FAO ecosystem approach, GFCM framework, including the 2030 strategy, and the several workshops that we conducted in SEAwise project. We estimated the indicators for large-scale and small-scale fleets, paying attention to cover livelihood indicators, as, for example, gross value added and employment, to take into account social system, social component, But we also covered some human well-being indicators as the carbon footprint and number of meals produced by the fishery. Our results integrating behavior submodels show that the fuel use depends on where effort is displayed. In particular, offshore métiers showed significantly higher daily fuel costs. And in this, and moreover, for example, in North Sea, we observed that fish price depends on landing. This is across the different regions. In North Sea, in particular, also on fish sides. In particular, for Adriatic and Western Ionian Sea, we applied a spatial behavior submodels, specific models. And the results show that the spatial closure forced effort displacement, depending on the geomorphology, and then can increase or reduce the emissions, and also depending on where the spatial closures is located. Management measures across the different case studies and results was observed to have more influence on economic and environmental indicators than socioeconomic and climate drivers by themselves. Scenarios that support local stewardship that was observed as a balance between environment and socioeconomic outcomes. This local stewardship was the scenario best performing more or less across all the regions due to the fact that it is characterized by favorable fish prices, improved stocks, and fuel efficiency by definition. The climate scenario RCP 8.5 generally leads to reduced biomass and higher emission per kilo of fish. In the different case study, large-scale fleets tend to yield higher economic returns, but is also more carbon intensive and sensitive to fuel price increases, and we observed this particularly in Bay of Biscay. In contrast, specifically in Mediterranean Sea, where small-scale fisheries is more concentrated and more represented, the small-scale fishery show lower emissions per kilo of fish and could play a key role in decarbonization, despite generating lower gross value added overall. It should be also noted that in Eastern Mediterranean, small-scale fleet brings more meals on the table than large-scale fleet. So what we can conclude from this work, first of all, is that management measures have major impacts on both economic and environmental outcomes. Secondly, that especially in Mediterranean Sea, small-scale fleet can offer low carbon protein, strong cultural value, and resilience under change. Another point is that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The policies need to be tailored to local fleet types, ecosystem characteristics, and socio-economic context. The combination of climate and behavioral elements allowed for more reliable forecast and better decision support. So, in short, fisheries management today must go beyond biology. It's economic, cultural, and deeply social. So we believe that our approach offers a step forward toward more adaptive, realistic, and effective fisheries management. Thank you for your attention.